All right, hope you guys aren't all burned out from live streaming with Jordan here. I just saw he just got off a minute ago. I almost didn't do one. Yeah, let's get myself centered up here a little bit better. Got to be centered in front of the flag. That's not cool. Get all my accessories out of the way here. Get everything I need near me here and everything else gone. Hey, everyone. Yeah, here we go again. It's Saturday, so it's live stream day. Thanks, Spike. I'm glad you like what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just experimenting with different things to see what I can come up with. Yeah, you like the shirt? I'm blending in with my couch here. You can't even see me. I'm just like a floating head right now. I think it's even the same colors. Hi, Jan. How are you? Yeah. I had a lot of fun at Bucky's. Like I said in the vlog, Jordan and I stopped at one of them in Texas, and he really wanted to stop at that one on the way in too. But we were kind of getting late, and it was getting to the point where I might miss the landlord here, and I didn't want to miss that, so I kind of nixed the idea. But it was fun. I've actually been there a couple times vlogging there. That wasn't the first time, so. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, that was the earthquake vlog. I had a lot of fun doing that. It was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, and it was an entirely different kind of creation process from what I'm used to. Because usually, what I'll do is I'll kind of just record everything and then piece it all together later on. In this case, what I did is I had to start with the graphics, and I do a little segment, edit it in, drop the graphics over. It's like, okay, I want to go here next. Okay, so let's do that segment. Yeah, it was an entirely different process. Have I tried any steak places? Yeah, a couple weeks ago I hit the Texas Roadhouse. That was on the last day I was on the unloading the pods. I think the episode was called "Escaping the Pods." People. I hit a Texas Roadhouse, which is a really great steak place. After that, thanks. I'm glad you liked the earthquake video, John. It was fun to do. It's a lot of work, but yeah, I've had beef brisket at a couple of barbecue places. It's really good. Flash is doing good. Actually, I got an interesting story from my father the other day. He said they had a little flash scare because apparently somebody found a tortoise outside in the front yard of their house, and they honestly thought it was Flash. And my father was kind of panicked. He went in the backyard and started looking, couldn't find Flash initially. Turns out she just found a whole new place to hide that he didn't know about. That's happened with me too. She'd been living at my place for I don't know 15 years, and there were still places that she knew about that I didn't know that she knew about. So, she's good at that. Yeah, being in an earthquake zone, that was one of the reasons I wanted to leave being in an earthquake zone. That was one of many reasons for leaving California. All right, visitors from Australia. You like the shirt? Yeah, this is a good one. I recently pulled another bin of clothing out of the storage locker so I could get some more dress shirts. I only had like two dress shirts in the house, so a couple of my tie dyes were in there, and I thought, okay, that was a good subject to or a good thing to wear for a shirt today. I don't know. Now I'm looking at myself on the monitor, and like I said, it looks like I'm blending into the couch. So maybe I'm going a little bit too much. But yeah, parents are doing well, John. I think in the next day or so, I'm a couple days ahead on vlogging right now. So I think one of the vlogs that goes up in the next day or so, I have an update on my father. Basically, the secret is he's just continuing to do well, and he's improving. So keeping our fingers crossed that continues. Who's the hippie on the couch? I don't know. Is there a hippie on the couch? Like I said, I just kind of blend in with the couch. I'm just a head floating in the air right now. No job interviews yet. Like I said, it's a kind of a wait and see kind of thing. There's a couple things that I'm looking at right now. I haven't heard anything on the QA position, but uh, you know what? And maybe it didn't happen. Maybe they found somebody else. Maybe they're still looking. But you know what? I'm keeping my options open, and I've got a couple other things I'm kind of other looking at right now. And so we're going to see. The brain that wouldn't die. Yeah, something like that. Sounds like it'd be a really good cheesy horror film. Is YouTube as a vlogger hard to navigate? No, not really. But uh, it's just the hard thing is just kind of getting yourself established and getting people to watch you, because if you don't have the advantage of having a friend who's already a vlogger, uh, those first few months are really, really difficult. I got to kind of jump over that because I had kind of a built-in audience almost right from the beginning. So uh, we're making really great progress, and so far it's been really positive experience. I'm enjoying doing it, and finding more and more ideas to do. So I guess that's how it happens. You start thinking more about a vlogger and say, oh, that'd be a good vlogging subject. Oh, we should go do that. We should go do that thing. So yeah, I don't know. I keep having more and more ideas. So have I ever skydived? Yes, I have actually. That'll probably be one of my other flashback videos. As I mentioned in the bungee jump video, Beth and I used to go and do little adventures on her birthday every year for a while, and skydiving was one of them. So yeah, you'll probably see that at some time. No, I have not tried a Texas Charlie omelet yet. I do remember hearing about that, but I haven't tried it yet. That's just like an omelet with like chili in it, right? Yeah, I do have more historic video like the bungee jumping. I've done a couple other things. I don't want to be too much of a spoiler. I mentioned one of them just a minute ago. Did some skydiving once with my friend Beth, and that will probably appear at some point. So let's see what happens. But uh, yeah, I got a few more things in the hopper waiting to happen. Thank you, Janet Matthews. I really appreciate that. That's really generous of you. I'm glad you like the vlogs. That kind of makes it all worthwhile when that happens. Just got the air conditioning going again properly here. Last few days, I haven't been able to get it to come on. It turned out it was actually really something stupid. What would happen is I'd flip the switch on, um, and the fan would come on, but the compressor outside wouldn't be coming on. So what would end up happening is it would just blow warm air around here. And I was about to call the maintenance crew to have them come in and look at it. And all of a sudden, I just pulled the thermostat thing off in my hand. It just comes off the wall, and turns out the batteries in the thermostat were dead. I replaced those, and it was fine. So yeah, no, I can't. I honestly said it might have. I was thinking it might be a that's not how it's done, but you know what? I can't blame the maintenance staff for a dead battery. I don't know how long that thing's been in here, and they probably didn't replace it when they were overhauling the place. So anyway, the air conditioning works really great now. Yeah, right. I'm actually. It's actually a good thing that they actually put batteries in it, because it could have been caulking compound in there, or they could have used caulking compound to attach the thermostat to the wall. Then I never would have been able to get it off. Yeah, the bungee jumping was fun. It was one of those things that's always kind of been on my list that I wanted to try. And so when I saw that we could do as many as three of them, I said, you know what? This is probably going to be the only time in my life I'm ever going to get a chance to do that. So I'm going to do three of them. And it was fun. I'm glad I did. It was a great memory. Thanks, Warren. I'm glad you like my vlogs. Wow, I'm your favorite YouTuber? That's cool. Thanks. My parents are doing great. My father is continuing to be on the mend, and my mom is slowly but surely making progress towards getting back some of her active life. So yeah, they're doing really well right now. Yeah, I know what that's like. You get a little behind on vlogs, and all of a sudden you got a lot of catching up to do. Such a daredevil? No, maybe not a daredevil. Just kind of maybe a bit of a thrill seeker, pushing my limits a little bit. I would actually love to come to Australia, but right now I'm not in a point I can do that. I'd have to get a job and build up some seniority a little bit and get to the point where I have enough money where I could afford to do that. But Australia would be fun. It is a place I'd love to go visit. Well, I'd be moving my parents to Texas. No, probably not. My mom is not a fan of the heat. My sister has actually been trying to get them to move to Sacramento so that they could be a little closer. And my mom just refuses to have it. She won't have any of it because she says it's too hot. So, if she can't survive Sacramento, they'll never make it here in Texas. I think they're just happy where they are. All their friends are there. And so, yeah, I don't think there's going to be um, yeah, I don't think that's going to be a big possibility at this point. I'll show you how to love a kitchen stove. I don't know. I suppose I probably could. I'd have to look into mine and see how mine is done. But generally, what you do is you just got to get a level on the surface, and then there's usually just 4 feet that are like screwed into the bottom, and you just kind of get them, twist them in till they're all level. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. That's really generous of you. Kind of catching up here. Like I've run into this problem before. Sometimes when I'm talking, I'm not reading, and then all of a sudden a whole bunch of things happen, and somebody says something. It's like, okay, where's that coming from? Yeah, my sister actually doesn't live in Sacramento. She lives in Folsom, which is kind of east of Sacramento. Do I think Disney knows about my channel? I know a couple of friends do. One of the job placement classes seminars I went to last week um, recommended that I get some, pre-publish a list of references, and the only real people I've got contact with from past jobs anymore are over at Disney because basically every other job I've done, the company is out of business or was bought out or something like that. And I've lost track of all those people. So I could only go back to Disney people. And so I was kind of going through my Facebook page saying, okay, this person would be a good choice. This person would be a good choice. And I rattled off about 9 names that I could put on a references list and kind of sent requests to them asking them if they have a problem with it. And, 6 of the 9 did. And one of them came back and said, oh, yeah, I love watching your channel on YouTube. So I don't know if Disney knows about it specifically, but I know some of my friends at Disney do. Folsom, yes, Folsom is in Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues. I actually went to Folsom Prison at one point when I was visiting my sister, singular, not two of them. I don't think I could deal with two sisters. One's enough. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. All right, Mexico City. What is my Facebook page? I just have my own personal Facebook page, and I'm not really doing an escaping the mouse page like Jordan did. I don't know. Somebody mentioned that last week, and I don't really have the interest at this point in starting one up. I would guess if one of my viewers wanted to start one up, then it would be their page and they can monitor it. But at this point, the product is the YouTube channel, and that's what I'm trying to sell here. So will I ever do a vlog from Folsom Prison? The truth is, they don't let you into the prison. There's you could go to the outside and kind of, see the gate that Johnny Cash posed, posed the picture, posed that famous picture in front of. But they won't even let you approach the gate. You can only kind of look at it from like 100 feet away. They do have like a gift shop that you can go there and gift shop slash Johnny Cash museum that you can look at. But that's really all that there is there. Thanks, Gene. Glad you like the shirt. Yeah, this is one of the ones that Jordan and I made, I think. Yeah, it is still an active prison. In fact, they've got a men's prison and a women's prison on the property there. And no, Jordan, this is water, not moonshine. It probably would make for a more entertaining video if it was moonshine, though. Can you imagine that? Running a 2 hour long live stream and getting drunk as I go, becoming more and more incoherent. I mean, that's bad enough. I'm bad enough as I am here. The kitties are doing fine. I checked in on them this morning. They're both just up napping. Like I say, they do a lot of that during the day. Sometimes Bite will come down and visit when he hears talking down here, but other times he'll just wait until it's over. And Flash is doing great too. I actually got a note from my father the other day that they had a little scare. Apparently, somebody saw a tortoise out in the front yard, and they were convinced that mine had gotten out. And they actually started going. My dad went in the backyard trying to find Flash, and for the longest time couldn't find her. And ultimately, did finding her. Ultimately, he did end up finding her, and it just turned out that she'd found a new place to hide that he didn't know about. That uh, doesn't surprise me because in the 15 years she lived at my house, even at the end, after all that time, there was a number of times where I'd go out and find her. I couldn't go out and look for her. I couldn't find her. What's your plan for Halloween decorations? I am actually planning on doing a little Halloween stuff. Um, when on Halloween Day, I'm not going to do the full on thing, but I'm going to probably drag a few things out. When I was unloading the pods and loading the storage lockers, when I did find like Halloween stuff, I kind of put that in the front so that I could get at it easily. So we'll probably have like the tombstones out and the zombies and stuff like that are popping out of the ground and a few strobe lights and maybe black light and stuff like that. We're going to do something definitely. I've already actually cleaned out the backyard a little bit. I had those palm trees that were out there, and I decided to kind of move them to another place near my apartment where they'll get a little bit better sun and have some better drainage, and also maybe a little better access to a water supply. So that also clears out some space in the backyard, so that I could, do a little bit of a cemetery back there. Oh, I hear you about taking a break from birthday parties. Those get a little too much. Did my dad keep the other turtle? I don't know if they figured out who it was or whose turtle it belonged to, but no, to my knowledge, they didn't keep her or him. I don't know if it was a male or female. It just kind of blows me away sometimes how many people actually do have turtles or tortoises as pets because I think I've told this story before. we didn't go out and buy her, or we didn't go like out in the desert or anything and retrieve her. We found her. She was wandering around. She got out of somebody else's yard like 30 years ago. And, we went and, adopted her and then looked around to see if anyone was missing her. And that didn't happen. And so somebody else had a turtle, obviously, in or around my neighborhood somewhere. And then just like 5 or 6 years ago at my house in California, she got out of my yard and I didn't even realize she was gone. And she made it down to the end of the block, went into a cul-de-sac and found another neighbor. And it turned out they had a tortoise too. And so all of a sudden, I didn't even realize she was gone until the people that found her put notes up all over the community saying that they'd found a tortoise. And they said, there couldn't possibly be more than one tortoise in the community. And so, I went and looked and I couldn't find mine. I couldn't find Flash. And so, it was mine. It turned out they had one hurt too. So I guess they're more common than you would think. Yeah, I was kind of sad about that too, Jenny, that, but, you never know, maybe they never even realized she was missing. Maybe they had a few of them or something, and she got out and they just never noticed, you know. But I've had her for the last 30 years and she's been a good pet. And she's gotten out a couple times, but we've always gotten her back. So thanks, Nancy. I'm glad you liked the earthquake vlog. That was fun to do. I'd definitely do some more of those. That was a relatively successful video. A lot of people seem to like that one. So Denise, were your turtles like aquatic turtles, or were they like tortoises like mine? Yeah, yeah, John, I really do like Waco. So far, everything I see there, I really like about the place. It's kind of got enough of a small town feel to it, and yet everything is here that you would need. Um, so yeah, I like Waco a lot. Any new job offer, any job news? Not at the moment. I'm still kind of playing things. I'm not really talking a whole lot about it because I'm focusing more on looking for things rather than talking about them. And I don't want to get everyone excited for something that just doesn't pop up. So, but I'm still looking at the QA job. I know that about a week ago the job disappeared from the job board list that I'd seen. So obviously they stopped looking, which means they're either looking for somebody now from the applicants they have, or they've found somebody. But I've seen a couple other things that I'm looking at too. I'm not going to really give any details right now, but there's one thing in particular that I think is really cool. In fact, I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time getting a new version of my resume updated for that particular job, because that could be fun too. It's funny, Will, you mentioned Rudy's barbecue. I did a restaurant vlog today, and that's where I went. I went to Rudy's barbecue in Waco. So yeah, stay tuned. You'll see that one on Tuesday, I think. Not three types of earthquakes. There's three types of earthquake faults. Every time I take my hand off the mouse, the virus software here wants to kick in and start doing a virus scan. I wish I could tell it not to do that when I'm live streaming, but whatever. Hi, Lynn. Welcome to the live stream. Good to see you from the UK. Must be late there, right? You must be after like midnight. When you were 5 years old, that's when you got your. Were they like the little aquatic ones that you had in a fish tank? Because I had those when I was a kid too. No, I've got to say I've never read that book, Nancy. Never even heard of it. Probably not one of those things that they're going to sell at the gift shop at Disney. Sounds like it wouldn't be one of those things. Just like my vlog isn't going to probably be on the big screens in the backstage area. Well, can I ever escape the mouse with big crystal ears? Well, I don't know. I was actually kind of tempted to, because they told me that they would engrave something on the thing, and I just haven't put my name on it. I was actually thinking it would be funny if I could get them to print escaping the mouse on it. But I think what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to wait for the thing to arrive, and I'll peel off the plaque that has my name on it, and I'll just have my own made with it says escaping the mouse, and I'll put it on there. Yeah, the Rudy's was really good. My only criticism, and I said this in the video, is I just think I would have preferred larger portions. Um, but whatever. I'll just remember that next time. I'll just order two of something. Yeah, the crystal ears look nice. I mean, they're maybe, I don't know. I'm not a watch kind of person, and the rest of the stuff didn't really impress me. So, you can call it cool of Disney. I call it kind of diluted that they didn't even pick up on the fact that I left under kind of less than ideal terms, and it wasn't a retirement. I quit because I was frustrated with that place. Thanks, Savage 48. I'm glad you liked the earthquake vlog. I'll probably do more of those. That was, like I said, it was a lot of work to do that one because it was an entirely different process from normally what I do. Because usually what I'll do for the vlog is I'll go shoot everything ahead of time and then just piece it all together. This was actually, I recorded my intro, put it in there, edited, then recorded the next thing, put the video, put the graphics over it, edited that, and it was a little different of a process. It took a little longer too. I think it took about 3 hours to piece that together. Yeah, I don't know if it's don't care or weren't even aware, because I don't, I know that the retirement thing is done by a whole division of Disney. You got to remember when you got a company that has as many employees as Disney does. There's a division to deal with everything. There's a whole division just to deal, I'm sure, with retirement gifts, and I'm sure there's dozens, if not scores, of people that work in that department processing all that stuff. And so I'm just guessing they don't even know yet. Do I have a Patreon account? Yes, I'm not really officially pushing it, but if you go to my YouTube homepage, on my cover picture, there's a link to the Patreon account. If you want to do that, that's great. Like I said, I'm not really pushing it, because at this point, I'm doing all right with money because I got the money from the house sale, and so we're doing all right. It'll probably become something I'll push maybe a little bit more when I buy a house, because then maybe people might want to invest in a project or something like that, and that could be fun. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, Gene. I don't like earthquakes at all. That was definitely one of the reasons I went away. I left California because I remember several good sized earthquakes. Because I was there in Sylmar in 1971. Now I was 7 years old, and my parents told me I slept right through it, which is kind of weird. I couldn't do that today. And I remember Whittier Narrows, and I remember Northridge, and of course, I lived about 2 miles from the Elsinore Fault, and that one rattled and rolled from time to time. I'd feel a couple of magnitude 2 or 3 earthquakes, and 2 or 3 doesn't sound like much, but when you're a couple of miles away from them, you feel those. And that fault produced a couple of 4.5s, I think, a few years ago, which I was aware of, definitely very aware of on those. You're going to resign from Disney and you don't even work for them because you want the gift. I don't know. Maybe I'll turn the gift into one of my Patreon accounts, rewards or something like that. That'd be funny. Yeah, yeah. That was. I didn't realize that until I did it. I'm kind of blending into the couch right now. I'm just like a talking head. Yeah, you're right, PDX. Earthquakes, it often depends on how deep they are. But you get a big enough earthquake, no matter how far down it is, you're going to feel that. But yeah, you're right. Shallow quakes are tend to be a little sharper and more violent. That was what I was just looking back at that earthquake, the big one that started that earthquake cluster in California a little bit a couple weeks ago, and the initial 7.1 quake. Well, actually, that wasn't the initial one. That was the big one because the initial one was smaller than that. But the 7.1, the big quake, was like only 7 miles down. That's a really shallow quake. Not getting a like button on live. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done a whole bunch of those, and I don't have a like button either on mine. But I don't know. It'd be kind of pathetic if I was liking my own live stream, huh? What's the update on my father? My father is continuing to do well. I do give him an update on one of my vlogs in the next day or so. I don't remember exactly which one it was on, but I'm a couple days ahead of it. Basically, the big issue, it all started with when they detected prostate cancer late last year, I believe, or early this year, one of the two. And they decided rather than dealing with it with like chemo or stuff like that, that they were going to do a radiation treatment and target just the area. And so he went in for radiation treatments every day for like 3 months. And that was kind of what triggered his health issue a few weeks ago. He just kind of got to the point where he was getting weak from all of that. And when they were checking his prostate numbers, I don't know exactly which test it was they were doing, but initially, when he completed his prostate radiation treatment, the number that they were reading, I think, was like 5.4, which was really, really high. He contacted me a couple of days ago and told me that they tested it again. He's down to zero point 0.4, which is a terrific improvement. And they're hoping to get it down to zero point 0.1. And he's moving in the right direction. So we're all grateful for that. He's doing good. And my mom continues to do her thing. She's on a kind of a longer track to kind of get back because she's been you know dealing with her knee replacement for a couple of years now, and it's just kind of been a slow path back. She continues to make improvement. You don't necessarily see it day to day, but for instance, when I last time I saw them before I moved out of California, and then when I saw them when I went back in, when my father went into the hospital, I noticed huge difference with my mom. She's way more active. She's way more able to get up on her feet and get around now. So she's making progress too. It's just a little bit more gradual, a little bit more slow. I should do a vlog on how to tie dye a shirt. Jordan and I actually did a couple of those. You got to go dig back into his vlogs because we went through the whole process and made some t-shirts then. Does my family support and like the channel? Yes. They've watched it always from the beginning. My mom more so than my father. My father sometimes gets a little behind, but um, ever since I was there, and he was in the hospital, and I was covering all the stuff that was going on weird in the house, the gas leaks and all that weird stuff. He started watching every day, and I keep, every time he talks to me, he keeps saying now that, oh yeah, we're watching your vlogs. So yeah, I think they're watching them. I don't know if they tune in for the live streams. They may come back and watch them later on, but I don't think they tune in for them. Neither of them have like a YouTube channel, so I don't think there's likely that you're ever going to see a comment from them. I don't know. Maybe we'll work on that. Work on getting them a YouTube account so they could actually participate. But they come in and watch. Yeah, the one that Jordan and I did about the tie dyeing, I don't know, that was probably what, a year and a half ago. So that'll at least help you figure out where to look. Probably could do a search and find it pretty easily. Yeah, Jordan's birthday is coming up in a couple of days. Yeah, I did the did the vlog today. It's going to be done on his birthday, and I acknowledged it on that day. Thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if the QA thing is going to pan out. It may not. But I got a couple other things that I'm looking at. I'm not going to go in and label everything I'm doing, because I don't want to get everyone's hopes up and everyone think, oh yeah, he's doing this, he's doing that. Oh, then it didn't happen. If I get an interview, maybe I'll say something then. If I get something, I'll definitely tell you. But I'm still chipping away at it. Sorry, I don't know where the word chip came up, except for the fact I just saw somebody named Chip posted. Funny how that works. How long have Jordan and I been friends? Probably since, I don't know, 2002, I think. That was when we first met. Was I ever married? No, I couldn't find the right person. I don't rule it out. It's just, I'm kind of an introvert and it's kind of hard for me to get really close to people. So, yeah, that's what I'm hoping, Jenny, that the right thing will come along. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I look at on the list that I say, you know what, that looks like that could be fun. That's something I could do. So, and there's a couple things I'm looking at right now. In fact, I'm going to spend a little time tomorrow, I think, updating my resume. There was something that came across my desk last night that looked really exciting, looked like it might be fun. I got to do a little bit more research on it, but um, that could be a fun one too. So we'll see. Oh, I can beat you on that, Chip. Where I used to live, we had 8,000 earthquakes about 2 weeks ago. Glad I missed them. Man, yeah, because they happened on July 4th, and I went back to Texas on July 3rd, so I just missed that. I'm really glad I wasn't there. Yeah, that's one of and maybe that's one of the problems I've always had, Gene, is that every job I've ever had, I love doing it. And so, I kind of think now that's what it's got to be. I've never had a job I hated. Even Disney, I loved doing the job. I just didn't like the fact that I couldn't move up in the company. They played favorites and, promoted people who were their friends rather than people who were qualified. I don't know. It just doesn't seem that that's sustainable because if you're only promoting people who aren't going to be a threat to you, then you're thinking more about yourself and less about the future of the company. And generally, if you're promoting people who are, and I'll dare to say it, who are dumber than you are, that's just not going to lead to good things. Because if they do that, then it's just a race to the bottom, and that doesn't go anywhere good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about starting my own business, but then again, if you told me 6 months ago I was going to be starting my own vlog, I would have said, yeah, I doubt that. So who knows? Maybe. I mean, if I get to the point where I can support my do it myself doing this, I love doing this. I'm having a lot of fun doing them. Is Disney unionized? In certain departments, they are. Not all of them, and I was in one that wasn't. And I really wasn't interested. I could probably have transferred into one of the unionized departments and made more money, but I'm not really a union person. I don't really get into that line of things. I think that I'm the best seller of myself. I don't need someone that doesn't know me trying to force the company to take care of me. If a company doesn't take care of me, I'll go find somebody who will. Yeah, the Sierras. That was close enough to the earthquake because a 7.1 earthquake is a big one. I think I mentioned at the time my mom didn't even feel the first one, but she definitely said she was aware of the second one. Yeah, I'm not really going to rag on corporate America. They do what they have to do. I do what I have to do. You know, that's one of the reasons I'm not really into unions that much. I don't like it when either side has too much power. And I think with the union environment that exists today, the unions have too much power. You know, like it or not, if the company, if you don't like working for a company, if you don't think they're treating you well, you know what? They can't force you to work for them. You can go find someone else. If you think you can do better, go find something else. Uh, but you know, you can't. You know, if you're a business owner and the union isn't happy, you're just out of luck. There's nothing you can do about that. Your only choice is to go out of business. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just too much power, I think. Colorado, all right. Colorado was actually one of the places I considered moving when I left, but I wanted to, because one of the key things I really wanted was to move someplace that has a little bit of seasons, because there are no seasons in California. It's hot and it's hotter, and occasionally you get a rainstorm, and it either drops rain on you for like 2 or 3 minutes, it's done, or you get this deluge that just floods you out. And you know, what are the scariest earthquakes I remember in California? It would have to be Northridge and Whittier Narrows. Whittier Narrows happened when I was at work. That was a morning earthquake, and I was in the clean room making CD masters at the time, and all of a sudden everything started shaking, and my manager was in there at the time, and he kind of panicked and he just ran out of the room and said, okay, I was being a little bit more calm, but I went with him, and you know, I just kind of followed behind him leaving the room. And as I got to one of the we call resource rooms, there was this 6 foot tall, probably 1,000 pound rack mount control rack that controlled one of our master machines, and it was literally jumping off the ground as I ran past it. And at that point, I got scared and I left, and I started running too. Northridge, I remember also. Northridge happened at like 5 in the morning, and that was really scary too, because the big news about Northridge was that there was this apartment complex right near the epicenter where it literally just pancaked down and it killed a whole bunch of people. And the truth is, I lived in an apartment at the time that was designed exactly the same way. You know, it had the whole thing was supported by metal beams, and that was where the carports were. And then there was 2 floors of apartments above that. So yeah, I was in the exact same type of apartment complex in at the time of Northridge that as the one that pancaked in Northridge. Now I was 30 or 40 miles away from the epicenter, but that was also fascinating too, because I didn't have to work that day, and so I spent a lot of the day just watching the news. And it was interesting because the news channels were all up in LA, and they had there was just nonstop coverage of the earthquake, um, and and they had the seismograph just on the little window on the screen, and every once in a while they'd say, "Oh, we're having a little aftershock," and you'd see it on the screen, and then I'd wait, and it's like 10 or 15 seconds later, okay, yeah, here it is. I feel it here. It's funny because the earthquake move about, the shaking moves at about 2 miles a minute, or 2 miles a second. So going from LA to my house in Placentia, it takes a few times. It takes a few minutes or a few seconds for it to get to you. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so I'll jump off of a bridge attached to a bungee cord. Yeah, you're right. But I trust the bungee cord made it more than I trust the Pacific plate moving. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that those Northridge apartments, they were pretty much demolished in the quake. Yeah, I've been on the San Andreas fault line too. In fact, when I really started digging into to this vlog I was going to do, I discovered something really interesting. anytime anyone from Southern California drives to Northern California, they usually go along the 5, which means you go up over the hills and then down through the Grapevine, and then you follow the 5 all the way up to wherever you're going, San Francisco, Sacramento, or even further north. And one of the stop-off places is a little town on the 5 freeway at the top of the hill called Gorman. Uh, and I discovered, because everyone I knew, whenever you go through there, that's where you'd stop. It was just kind of a little town where everyone stopped for to take a bathroom break or to get something to eat or something, or just to stretch their legs. Well, it turns out you get a couple miles past Gorman, and then you make a turn to the right and head north, and you start going down the hill where you pick up the Grapevine. Well, it turns out when you're going right next to Gorman for the last 5 or 10 miles up there on the Tejon Pass, that is right in the middle of the San Andreas Fault. And when you make that right turn to go down the hill and into the Grapevine, that's the Garlock Fault. So that's exactly where San Andreas and Garlock meet up. And that was interesting, because I think about how many times I was right there in the fault. Cooking some meatball stew, Cajun style. That sounds good. Yeah, I've been to Modesto. I am. You're right, Tom. I am becoming a little bit more confident doing. I don't know if it's really helping me that much as an introvert, though, because I'm not really talking to 110 people right now. I'm talking to my computer monitor. In fact, anyone watching me through the glass right now probably thinks I'm insane. Did I take some geology classes? Yeah, actually, I took a couple of geology classes when I was in junior high. I really wasn't into them. And a few years ago, I was thinking I was going to maybe go back and get like a computer science degree. And so I took some of the basic classes at a local community college, so I could, because it was less expensive to do it that way. And one of the classes I took, well, two of the classes, I had to take a couple sciences. And one of the classes I took that I actually took 2 semesters of was geology. And I really enjoyed that. Well, I'm with you, Greater Bill B. I don't like earthquakes either. You deal with a bunch of them and you kind of get used to them a little bit more, but you never really recover from them. Especially if you're inside, because there's nothing scarier. Because the first thought you have is, okay, is this roof coming down on me? You never know. And I mean, the noise inside, especially in a wood frame building, because there's all the creaking and if you hear things falling off shelves and stuff like that. Did I get my car fixed on Thursday? Yes, I did. It wasn't really that exciting because I didn't end up in a Hyundai dealership this time. So it really wasn't anything to cover. So I just didn't really talk about it. But yeah, basically what happened is I got a note in the mail for that saying that there was a software upgrade that they wanted to put into my car. Some of the cars now are, completely computer driven, and apparently there was a bug in the software that reports gas mileage or stuff like that. And they said that if the bug was left, that sometimes you get faulty results if you did a smog check or something like that, or it could give you false error messages. So it was a free fix, and they did it in about an hour or so. I just went down there and had them do it. And I had an appointment, so they went in there and they got me out of there in about an hour. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable doing this. I go back and watch my first couple of vlogs, and they are kind of painful. I came off as really nervous and all that, and I still am, but I'm getting a little bit more of a handle on this. So it feels a little bit. I guess I'm a little bit more confident with it. Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to experience a tornado, but I guess I prefer a tornado over an earthquake because with a tornado, at least you usually have a little bit of warning that it's coming. Uh, you could look at the weather and say, oh, we got this strong weather front coming in. And of course, I got my NOAA radio over there that makes a loud, piercing noise if ever there's a tornado or even strong weather coming. So, and I know exactly where I go. There's a little pop place in the closet over here that's up against a brick wall that I think would probably be a very safe place to be in a tornado. So, and I would suspect that if there was anything at all weird going on, the first thing the cats are going to do is run up to their room and jump into their cat box. So, I'll have time to go up there, grab the door, grab them, close them in there, and bring them with me. So, yeah, it's got brick on one side and it's got the stairs, it'd be underneath the stairs. And so I think it would probably be a pretty safe place to be, probably the safest place in the building. Yeah, Connie, you're right. Tornadoes can sneak up on you, but like I said, I've got that NOAA weather radio, and there's no way I'm going to sleep through that if something comes along. And I also really pay close attention to the weather, so I generally have a pretty good idea when something's going on. Yeah, I guess I've been aware of a few tornadoes in Minnesota too. I have a family that lives in Minnesota. My grandparents, they're all gone now, but they all lived in Minnesota at one point. And one time I remember when I was visiting my dad's parents in the Twin Cities area, we went through an area called the Como Zoo, and it was kind of a big wild area. And apparently, a tornado had blown through there a few days earlier, and there were a whole bunch of trees that were down. It must have been a really small one, like an EF1 or something like that, but it took down some trees. So yeah, they're powerful. Yeah, that Great San Francisco earthquake, that was something. That was like an 8.0. That was a massive quake for the San Andreas Fault. That's pretty much the top end of that. You don't usually get much more than that on that kind of a fault. You have to go to like a subduction fault to get to the real big ones. But that's also one of the advantages of like the San Andreas Fault. Usually, if you are going to get a big quake, it'll be over in 10 or 15 seconds. You get an earthquake on a subduction fault. It can go for the shaking can go for 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. It just really goes and it goes and it goes and it goes. So yeah, liquefaction is a big issue in the Bayside because so much of, especially the area down in the marina, is on land that's been reclaimed from the ocean. They just put landfill in there and built on top of it. And when you have all that moisture in there, you get an earthquake and everything just collapses. A lot of people don't know this, but that earthquake in San Francisco, the Loma Prieta quake, the one that interrupted the World Series game about 20 years ago, that earthquake actually broke. The epicenter for that was like 20 miles south of the city, way up in the hills away from where anyone lived. Um, and, there wasn't that much damage there, but the reason there was so much damage in San Francisco is not because of the shaking necessarily, but because of the liquefaction. And everything just collapsed. Okay, I'm being told that the Great San Francisco earthquake was 8.6. Okay, that sounds right. That's still really the top end of a transformed plate boundary earthquake, though. It doesn't usually go that big. That was a pretty massive one. Did you ever see the San Andreas movie? Yes, I did. It was a very entertaining and very well produced movie, but the whole idea of San Andreas breaking from Los Angeles to San Francisco, it's not going to happen. That was, a lot of times they do things for, interest, to make an exciting video rather than an accurate video. And there were a lot of details on that were just wrong. So it's an entertaining movie. The effects were good, but don't use it as a basis for reality because San Andreas is never going to break across that long of a region. It breaks in a small area. Yeah, Will, you're right on that. I remember that was scary too when the Bay Bridge upper deck collapsed. In fact, I don't know if you remember it. There was a video of it happening that shows a car, going into the hole. That was scary too. Oh yeah, Jan Roberts, you get a lot. You can get some really big earthquakes. So in Alaska, you got the Aleutian Islands that kind of go out of there. That's a what they call an island arc, and that's evidence of subduction. One of those earthquake types I talked about the other day. Because what ends up happening is when you have two plates colliding with each other, one of them tends to go under the other, and then the one on top tends to warp like this as the plate underneath subducts. And then what ends up happening is when the pressure gets too big, too strong, the plate on the top does one of these things, and that's what causes the earthquake. And that causes massive earthquakes, and it also tends to create tsunamis when it's in the ocean. So that's why that's what the Aleutian Islands are. Is they're created by subduction. So you get some massive earthquakes in Alaska. You might be far enough away from them because Alaska is a really big state. You don't get the impression by looking at it on a map, but you know, Alaska is half the size of the continental United States. It's just such a massive state. All right, Maria, I'm glad you were able to stop by. Thanks for coming in. Everyone's talking about Clark Gable right now. I'm trying to figure out where all that came from here. Like I said, sometimes I start talking, I look at the screen, I'm not paying attention to what's happening over here. Yeah, Wendy, I saw that too. I saw the news on that. It's like a locust infestation. That's a trip. I guess it's that time of the year. They must have all just you know transformed into grasshoppers and came out of the ground and took off. Funny, they got a plague in Sin City. Am I cooking tonight? No, not really. I did a cooking vlog a couple days ago, and I think that's the one that's going up tonight. And I may heat up some of that, have that. I think the one I'm doing tonight is I it was just kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. I was in the grocery store just picking up some other stuff, and I just happened to see some tortillas, and I said, you know what? I haven't made homemade burritos in a long time, and so I just kind of went and bought homemade burritos and did that, and decided to turn it into a vlog. So that's what you're going to get to see tonight. I think. I think that's the one that goes up tonight. That was just a simple one to do. It took me 15 minutes to 15, 20 minutes to prepare everything, another 10 or 15 minutes to cut it all together. And it was just a real simple vlog, and it was very tasty. Yeah, I love my burritos. Haven't found anyone yet uh, that makes burritos the way I like them exactly, because I don't know. I like maybe more American burritos. I think the authentic Mexican burritos, it's usually, it's meat and onions and a little cilantro and like hot sauce or something like that. But I like lettuce and cheese and tomatoes and sour cream and guac and all that. So I got 3 meals out of the pizza. So the one that at the restaurant, and then two more after that. So yeah, it was definitely worth the money. It was, like I said, it was a little pricey for a single meal, but I got 3 meals out of it. So that was good. What else might I cook in a vlog? I've been thinking that I was going to share my mother's lasagna recipe at some point, but like with the burrito thing, it was just that was just a spur of the moment thing. I said, "Oh, I'm going to make burritos. Hey, I'm going to vlog that." So who knows? Might be other things too. Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to making pizzas, I generally just buy frozen and throw it in the oven. Okay, first troll of the day. Bye, loser. We're good. We're an hour in, and that's the first one. So I haven't made my own guacamole, but I've seen it done. It wouldn't be that hard to do. Uh, if I were to do it, my guacamole would be really really spicy because that's just who I am. Any historical touristy things coming up? I guess the last touristy thing I did was the Buckies. But I'm kind of doing just kind of different things every day, just seeing what comes up, what clicks, what sticks to the wall, whatever, and we'll go from there. Like I said, I'm a couple days ahead right now, which is actually kind of a nice feeling. Nice position to be in that you can know that, hey, if I can't come up with something today, uh, it's okay. I already got something up. So yeah, I've got videos posted up to Tuesday. So I'm a little ahead of the game. I actually got a little ahead of the game when I was back at my parents' house because when I did those 3 days of videos where I went to my schools, I went to the elementary, the junior, and the high school all on the same day, and so I got 3 vlogs out of that. And so you know, it's nice to be a little ahead of the game. I can take a day off now if I want to. I'm actually 4 days ahead right now. Yeah, except it isn't really a perfectly good bridge anymore because the road was washed out. The bridge is good; it's in nice shape, but there's no way to get back there anymore except by foot. So that's about all it's good for is for bungee jumping. Yeah, that was 2006, so that was 13 years ago. Honestly, I think I started looking more my age when I started growing in the goatee a little bit. Because I mean, you look on the sides, except for a little fringe in the back there, I'm still pretty. My hair is pretty much the same color. Yeah, I saw a lot of cool things that I want to get at Bucky's. I mentioned those Texas stars. You see those everywhere, and so I definitely want to get one of those. But at this point, now that I know where to get it, I'm going to kind of basically stick with, I'll go get one when I have a place to put it. There's no place to put it, but, I definitely want to have one of those for my house because it's like every house that you go by here, they have one of those in front. So it's clearly a big thing. There is a real Texas mentality to the people that live here. They really identify with Texas way more than people in California identify with California. I lived there all my life, 54 years, and never once thought about getting a California flag. But, first day I was in Texas, I bought this thing. So, That's just how that works. I knew right off the bat that I was going to identify more with this stuff with this state than I ever did with California. How does shopping in Texas compare to California? What do you mean, price wise or availability wise? I don't know. I need a little bit more clarification on that. Yeah, I'm still hoping that Bite and Nibble will come down to say hi. Price wise, okay. Well, price wise, in terms of shopping in Texas, I think a lot of things are a little bit less expensive in terms of shopping, just because so much of everything else is less expensive. If you're paying less to ship things from place to place because gas prices are lower, then that's going to mean that things on the shelf are less expensive too. I've basically noticed that it's way more affordable here. Gas prices, for instance, are 2.39 a gallon. I think I filled up a couple days ago, and that's what it was, compared to like 4.50 a gallon in California, depending on where and when. How do I like the surroundings and vegetation? I love the fact that it's so green here. And I love the fact that, unlike where I lived in California, you can drive like 10 miles in any direction and be out in the middle of nowhere. You couldn't really do that in California. You leave one town and you're immediately in the next town. You leave that town, you're in the next town. And it's just, you have to go 50 or 100 miles to get away from anything. Yeah, another one. Bye bye. Am I going to buy a cowboy hat? I've actually kind of thought about it. I thought it'd be funny to come onto a live stream here wearing a cowboy hat and not explain anything at all, not explain why I'm doing it, not take any questions about it. Just, it'd be funny, but I don't know. Maybe at some point. Yeah, yeah. A lot of things are a lot cheaper in Texas, and I think it has to do really with gas prices because basically anything you buy in California, you're paying for the shipping. Well, anything you buy anywhere, you're paying for the shipping, and if it costs less to ship, uh, you know, that's going to help. So, in terms of the movie, it's called San Francisco. I assume you're talking about that earthquake movie a few years starring The Rock. If it is, that was called San Andreas. If not, ignore what I just said. Well, they do have earthquakes in Texas, but they aren't generally seismic. They're generally more related to like drilling and stuff like that. And they're usually on the west side of the state where all the drilling is. Um, and they're also generally very small, rarely above a 2.0. You know what? I'll live with a 2.0 if occasionally I can deal with that. That's nothing. Am I wearing the slippers? I actually put them on just because somebody always asks. Yes, I am always wearing the slippers. And yeah, you're right. The cowboy hat and the slippers would be an excellent combination. Oh, okay. Sorry, I only saw half the conversation. The movie about Clark Gable is what they were talking about. Because we were talking a little bit ago about the movie San Andreas starring The Rock, and I was talking about how it was an entertaining movie, but it wasn't really factually accurate from a geology standpoint because San Andreas is never going to break from Los Angeles to San Francisco at the same time. Earthquakes there are going to be, you know, very local, or as local as a 7.1 earthquake can be. Yeah, salads. I love salads too. It's hard to compare insurance rates. I'm talking primarily. I'm assuming you're talking primarily auto insurance because you have to have different you have to have different policy here because you have more like individual coverage at a higher rate. So things are a little bit higher here. Maybe it's because it's more likely to get sued or something like that. I don't know, but for instance, I had to have $250,000 of coverage in California, and I think it went up to like 400,000 I had to have here, and so that's going to cost a little bit more. But give it time, the rate should go down because I'm a fairly good driver. Salmon and broccoli, that sounds good. I usually, when I'm having salmon, I usually have salmon and asparagus, but broccoli is good too. I like to steam. I like steamed veggies. Are there any woodworking plans? No, not at the moment, but I guarantee you that when I do start doing something like that, it will be something that I'll definitely vlog because that'll be good educational material and good filler. How is the water situation in Texas? Water is a problem. Do you mean like in terms of like availability or water pressure or something? Because one of the things I've noticed is I love the water pressure here. Water pressure is fantastic. I noticed that the first time I turned on the shower, that there was really really good pressure here. It's also softer water, which I noticed immediately because you can feel it, when you take a shower. Yeah, I've been hearing about DoorDash. I don't know. I'm still someone that kind of prefers to either make my own or go get it myself. Yeah, I think in terms of California, you do pay more if you're single, but I don't think that's limited to California. I think that's everywhere. No, liver's the one thing I don't know if I have the stomach for it. So no, I've never tried it. Actually, there was a point where when I was a kid, we had to feed one of my dogs was having health issues, and we had to feed him liver. And my mom cooked it a lot, and I always thought it smelled good, but I don't know. There are things that you hear what it is, and it's like I don't know. Doesn't sound that appetizing. But then again, there have been things that I have tried that didn't sound appetizing. Like uh, um, oysters, for instance. That sounds gross, and I've tried it. And I don't know. It depends on how it's prepared. I've had just oysters on the half shell and almost barfed. Um, Thank you, Jordan. I was just about to go after that. Usually, I didn't know what he was writing, but usually if you post the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, that's a troll. So I was just about to go after that, but Jordan got him. Jordan the troll killer. Jordan said he wants to move out of California, so I don't know. Depends on what he wants to do. He's talked at times about going to Europe, and uh, he'll do what he does, and I'm sure whatever he does, it'll be interesting. Do I have to have my car inspected? Yes. To get my registration done, um, when I first moved here, I had to have my car inspected, but they've really got that dialed in here. They did a pretty thorough investigation. They got it done. I think in this case they had to do it over the period of a few hours, and so I just kind of wandered around the area, and it cost $7 to do that. So that was great. I honestly I looked at what they did, and basically they didn't really do a whole lot. But usually, you go to a car place and have them, they'll charge you $50 just to open the hood. Yeah, yeah, I got mine done for $7. That blew me away. Well, talk about seafood. Yeah, I'm hungry too. That's one of the things I like about the HEB that I've been shopping at. They've got like a great just meals ready to prepare kind of thing. And one of those things I saw that looked really good a couple weeks ago that I had was salmon patties, and it was fantastic. It was basically, it looks like they took the salmon and just put it into like a hamburger grinder, and they mixed in like cheese and jalapenos, and it was really good. It was fantastic. But I'm from Minnesota, so I have to love fish. I'd be excommunicated from my family if I didn't. Fortunately, that wasn't a big issue with me. Yeah, those meals are great. Sometimes when I don't know what I want to have for dinner, I'll just go, I'll just go look and say, what looks good? Oh, that looks good. I'll have that. Am I one to put up a Christmas tree? No, not really. I actually have an artificial tree that used to be my parents, and they gave it to me, but I've never really put it up. It's funny because I went crazy with Christmas decorations outside, but I do nothing inside. I haven't had a Christmas tree since I had an, I used before I lived in the house that I lived in. I lived in an apartment that was literally right down the hill from where my house was, and I had big, tall, vaulted ceilings that went up at one point up to like 18, 20 feet. And so in those days, I would get like a 12 or 14-foot Christmas tree, drag it up the stairs into my apartment and put it up. And I'd have a tree, I'd have to get a ladder to get to the top of it. And you're right, Karma. That now that I think about it, that's probably what it was. I had Christmas trees before I had cats. Because yeah, I know that both bite and nibble would be at the top of that thing, and then once they get to the top of that thing, they're going to off balance it, and they're all going to be on the ground. So yeah, that's probably one of the big reasons. It was also kind of a mess. The truth is, I always had live trees, so maybe it would be better if it was an artificial tree, but there's still going to be that cat problem. So that's probably a big factor in why I didn't do it. I have noticed that a couple times I've driven back and forth to Dallas to go like to the airport or something like that, and I did notice that along the I-35 there is a pretty big um, water park right along the freeway. I was also looking at where Six Flags Over Texas is, and Six Flags Over Texas is kind of right dead center between Dallas and Fort Worth. And then right next to that is a Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, which appears. I just looked at it from the satellite maps, but it looks like a water park. So I don't know. I might have to check that out some point. Problem with the water park is I'll have to pull the GoPros out, and the GoPros don't have really good audio. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, yeah, that's one of the things I've always liked about Six Flags in California is that they had awesome roller coasters, and it seems like that's just a theme for Six Flags is that they're kind of roller coaster kings over there. My experience has always been Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm, and yeah, Knott's Berry Farm has some cool roller coasters too, but it doesn't come anywhere near to what like Six Flags has. Yeah, I'd probably have to tie my tree up to keep the cats there, but I still think there'd be the issue with them getting up there and knocking ornaments off and stuff like that. So, yeah, probably best just not to do that. An upside down tree. Yeah, I've seen people do that too. That's uh, probably a good way to keep the cats out of it. Attach it to the house, attach it to the ceiling. Unfortunately, the ceilings are really low here, so do I have a religious upbringing? Yeah, I was raised in a Lutheran household. I don't know, not really that into it anymore, but That was probably the last time I was in Knott's too. Actually, probably a little bit more recent than that. When I used to work at DMI, the first CD factory I worked at, they would have company picnics at Knott's Berry Farm, and so I guess I've probably been there like in my 20s and 30s, but it's still been like 20 years. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been to a Dia de los Muertos celebration yet here in Texas. Obviously, that's not going to happen until for a couple months. But yeah, it might be big. They were big in California. I know. I know when I was working at Disneyland, one of the shows I was working on was based on the movie Coco. If you ever saw that, and that was a Pixar movie about a kid who crosses over into the land of the dead. Uh, and we did a show on that was really cute. The first year was kind of boring, but they let the show grow a little bit in the second year, and it actually became really cool. So I get the feeling that's going to kind of be a reoccurring theme that they'll do. And it's good hours, especially when you don't have a parade going on over at California Adventure, that you can do those things. And that's at least hours for someone. It's going to be for someone else now. I always used to get them because I had the seniority over there, but yeah, now it will be someone else's hours. But it was good hours, and it wasn't really hard work. Basically they have just these. We help had the characters help get their costumes on and stuff like that. Maybe I could get a small Christmas. I assume you mean a small Christmas tree, Jenny. I still would be concerned about doing that because I know the first thing that's going to happen is the cats are going to start eating the needles and then they're going to start barfing all over the place. See, that's probably another reason why I don't do it. The cats are either going to knock it down or they're going to eat it and barf. And, I don't really want either of those things. I'm pretty sure Knott still does have the stagecoach rides because yeah, I mean I know where the kind of the track is for that. I'm be- I'm I'm guessing they still do. Yeah, Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, so I always enjoyed decorating my house. And you saw a couple of vlogs from Jordan on that subject. Um, that was a I always had fun doing that. I also had fun doing Christmas. Yeah, the movie Coco was cute. Do I get sunburned? I try and avoid it. Um, one of the times when I went out and unloaded one of the pods, I did get a little bit sunburned that day, but it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I found that my cats aren't really that into passive deterrents like sprays or something like that. I actually have something called a scranimal. That's a it's a motion sensor, and if something gets too close to it, it sets off a piercing shriek. And I tried to use that to keep the cats off the couch. Unfortunately, I ended up setting it off more than they did, and I ended up conditioning myself to stay off the couch. So I don't know, it wasn't that good of an idea. It sounded good on paper, but it didn't work that well. Yeah, I used to do jack o' lanterns too. I didn't really do jack o' lanterns a whole lot in the last few years. I kind of like the stuff that I can put away and use year after year after year. The problem with jack o' lanterns is, they don't last long, especially after you cut them. They're good for a day or two, and that's it. And they start turning moldy and they're gross. Oh, that's cool. Your birthday's on Halloween. I'd love that. What's up, John Riddle? Yeah, I actually know they got like plastic pumpkins that you can actually cut in the last year to year. Haven't really done that, but I don't know if the cats are asleep right now, but I'm sure they're up in their bedroom. I haven't seen Bite come down. He usually comes down. Well, sometimes comes down when he hears me talking, but yeah, I got one of those for a few years. I got one of those pumpkin carving kits, and those were kind of fun. And they came with a lot of like cool stencils that you could use, and they're actually pretty easy to do. It isn't really much. You basically put the stencil over it. You poke little holes where you want to cut, and then they got this little knife thing that's like a saw blade, and you just kind of run along it and trace it out. It worked really good. I did it a few times. Like I said, I haven't done it in a while. I'm the pod killer. Yeah, yeah. You guys all saw that T-shirt. I halfway thought about wearing that one today, and I decided on this. I've worn the other one. Biggest haunted house in the state in the U.S. Huh? In Terrell, Texas. I don't know where that is. I'll have to look that up. What do I think of the petition to move Halloween to a weekend? You know what? It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. I would guess it should be one of those regional things where everyone just decides what they want to do. I don't really have a stake on it. I guess it'd be good to have it on a weekend so kids can have a little more fun and don't have to worry about school the next day. You know, can go into a sugar coma after eating candy all night and not have to worry about the next day. I don't know. It's up to the individual. I'll go with whatever they go with. What is our next vlog? If it's the one I'm putting up today, I think in about 30 minutes it's going to be another cooking vlog. It was just kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. But I was in the grocery store the other day buying just a couple things I needed, and I saw a package of tortilla shells, and I said, you know what? I haven't made just homemade burritos in a while. So I decided to do that and bought all the fixings and just whipped together some homemade burritos. And I said, you know what? That's a vlog. So yeah, it's a vlog. So you'll get to see that. And that's probably what I'm going to have for dinner when I'm done here too. We're about, like I said, 29 minutes away um, from the posting of the next video. So once that happens, I'll probably go have a burrito for dinner. Yeah, VNA, you're kind of right on that. I'm kind of it's basically I would say let the individual communities figure out what they want to do. I can see the logic of doing it on weekends, and it isn't really like Halloween is like some holy holiday that has to happen on the day itself. So whatever, I'll go with whatever they choose to do. You haven't made Tex-Mex in ages, but you're craving it ever since watching my vlog. That's cool. You know, get a little drive a little business towards those companies. Casa de Castillo was good. I'd recommend them. That was good Tex-Mex. How's the job search going? Well, I still haven't heard anything on the QA job, and who knows, that maybe went to someone else. I do know that for a while there, every day I'd get an email telling me that of the jobs that were available, and for a while there, that the QA job was there every day, and then like last Monday it disappeared off the list. So that tells me that they've stopped looking and maybe are either dealing with looking at the candidates, or maybe they've found somebody. But I've also found a couple other things that I'm looking at that I thought were interesting and might be entertaining for jobs. So you know, still just keeping my fingers crossed. I have a feeling something will come out of it eventually. I'm not talking about everything because you never know. It might be, I don't want it. I don't want anyone to think, "Oh yeah, you got that job," and then no, it didn't happen. What would be my dream job right now? Something where I could work indoors. I'm to the point now where I don't want to have an outdoor job. Especially with how hot and humid it gets here. I just would rather work indoors. Um, something working with technology. I really loved making compact discs, but unfortunately, that's not really an option anymore. Everything's gone to streaming, and there just aren't that many people making them anymore. So, yeah, well, maybe I got to learn how to do more authentic Mexican food. Unfortunately, a lot of the burrito I made came out of a can or out of a bag. So, well, I would say I was in the right state when I was in California for spicy food. But yeah, I don't think I took a step backwards coming to Texas. And I mean, there's so many things that are Texas that, they're kind of Texas food that, you don't, when you get it, you don't really can't get it anywhere else. You really, barbecue isn't something that's as prominent elsewhere. Yeah, they have it elsewhere, but you know, Texas is really the place to get Texas barbecue. And yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do a work at home kind of thing. Yeah, lettuce, tomato, cheese, onions, and meat is taco, but it can also be a burrito. And basically, that's what I did. That's what mine is. It's refried beans, meat, onions, cheese, tomatoes. Instead of doing tomatoes and onions, I just got a good pico de gallo sauce and lettuce, and of course, and then a lot of hot sauce. Yeah, the place I went today had good barbecue. You'll have to wait for that for a few days. I'd actually love to have somebody around here, Connie, that knows how to cook authentic Mexican food. So, yeah, I'd love to get a critic. I think mine's good, but you know what? Real taco has cabbage, not lettuce. Okay, well, I'm not really a fan of cabbage as much, so I think I'll stick with the lettuce. I have had curry, yeah. Indian food is good. I love that for being spicy too. Don't do Indian food that often, but hmm. Yeah, I know everyone's making me hungry too. I'm gonna have to. Oops, got another troll. Oh well, no great loss. Yeah, I'm guessing barbecue is kind of everywhere, and you're right. It's probably hit or miss depending on where you go, but it just seems like Texas is a place to have good barbecue. And so far, I haven't been disappointed on that front. Just like if you're going to have Cajun food, you got to go down to like Louisiana or Alabama or Mississippi. Just had an orange because you're hungry. That's cool. Thanks, Penny. I'm glad you stopped in. Yeah, I'm making myself hungrier and hungrier, Jana. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have a little of that burrito when I'm done here. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Grader Bilby. It is about the slow cooking, and I mean I see that here too. One of my neighbors, a couple units down, has a smoker that he just keeps out in the backyard all the time, and he's like 3 or 4 days a week he's cooking something on that. So yeah, I definitely think I want to get a smoker at some point. You know, I have a gas barbecue that I've used for forever, and I've got so much mileage on it, it's literally just rotting away. So I think at some point I'll either rebuild it or just replace it. Like I said, it isn't the barbecue itself. It's bad. It's just the burner is all messed up. The drip plate is all rotted away. You know, I suppose I could probably open it up and replace all those things. That wouldn't be the first time I had to replace the drip tray on that thing. So I'm trying to grow fresh herbs in the windows indoors, huh? Yeah, I did. There was a funny story about that. One day I needed some cilantro, or not cilantro. I'm sorry, rosemary for a recipe I was working on, and I'm one of those people that if I can, I want to go fresh versus like dried rosemary or something like that. So I went to like a local farmers market, and they had basically fresh rosemary that was still the plant and still the roots, and the roots were just in a little plastic thing, and they put it in the refrigerator. Well, I cut a couple branches off, planted the rest of it in my yard, and continued to have free rosemary for the rest of the time I was there. I use that all the time. I like rosemary. I like on salmon and stuff like that. Wow, we got somebody from Greece. You're really up in the middle of the night, aren't you? That wouldn't surprise me that the grills go on sale around Labor Day. Yeah, they want to sell a lot of those. I don't know. You guys remember that day I went over to Bucky's and I hit the HEB local here, and they had all those cool grills that were shaped like cows and pigs. Yeah, that was awesome too. A little pricey, but that's what you get from something that's handmade like that. Smoker and a nice chest full of cold beer. I love the sound of that. Yeah, I've been looking at. I love. Yeah, I've been looking at barbecues just because I've been thinking about it a lot ever since I got here, especially smokers, and they are a little pricey. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta just you know settle for that. Beer, yuck! Oh, sacrilege! Love beer. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for stopping in. We're talking about whatever you want to talk about. I'm just looking at the comments, and if somebody says something interesting or asks an interesting question, here I am. That's why I do these. Yeah, well, Jordan, because you know how often I use my gas grill. How many times did you come over and, hey, you want to have hamburger? Jordan used to call them Breck burgers. That's funny. The place I was had lunch today. They had Lone Star beer, and I was wondering about that. I've never actually had a Lone Star beer. I probably ought to just get some just so I can taste it. I always guess I kind of thought of it as like one of those mass-produced beers. So I don't know. I'm more of a micro brew, craft brew kind of person. So I don't know. Well, maybe we'll try Lone Star beer, just to try it, just to see if it's any good. Like I said, I'm not generally into like the Budweiser, the Miller Lights, the definitely don't like Coors. Haven't really had a lot of Texas beer yet. Haven't really had an opportunity to really try that. I don't know. I'll try it at some point. I do love Brussels sprouts. I've never thought about smoking them though. Smoked Brussels sprouts might be good. Hmm. I'm in Texas now. Lone Star beer. Okay, well there we go. Like I said, I saw it today in when I was doing my restaurant vlog today, and I'll have to go check it out. Jordan was joking with me a little while ago about me drinking moonshine. I was thinking that would be a funny vlog uh, or a funny live stream if I just got increasingly drunk as the live stream proceeded. Uh, I could see the same humor in a beer vlog. Yeah, a brewery tour might be fun. I have to look see who makes beer here. It has a brewery and a brewery tour. Yeah, all too often I get too tied up in what I'm talking about, and I'm not paying attention to what's happening on the screen here. So yeah, if it looks like I'm looking at you, I'm not looking over here at the screen, and I might be missing something. Jordan's got the advantage; he's just right there watching all these comments, so he pops in and grabs one of them before anyone knows. And I think a lot of the cases he knows who these trollers are, so he recognizes the names, and so he doesn't even necessarily wait to wait for him to say something stupid. He just says, "Oh, I know them." Gone. Honestly, the only thing I know about Bluebell ice cream right now doesn't make me want to try it that much, and that's what I've been hearing in the news lately. Um, I do know it's kind of a Texas thing, but I don't know. That kind of creeps me out a little. Yeah, exactly. That's my same thought, and my same thought. Love the '50s. It's like, ew, yeah, I just don't want to think about that. Bluebell, it is a local thing, and I see it everywhere. It's just, like I said, what I know, the first I ever heard about him was all those videos of people licking them and then put them back in the cabinet. It's like, Bluebell, they can fix this, but what they got to do is they got to safety seal all their stuff. That's all there is to it. Yeah, I like imported beers too, and actually I stopped or slowed down drinking them a little bit because I was starting to gain some weight, and beer is fattening. So you got a monsoon coming in Mexico City. I'll have to go check that out in the weather. But definitely got to go out and get the dogs walked before you do that. I've had Haagen Dazs, I've had Ben and Jerry's. Yeah, they're good. Am I a nice drunk or a mean drunk? I am a drunk that kind of knows my limits. I'm not somebody that gets falling down drunk. So I kind of know what my limits are, and when I hit it, I stop. So I guess maybe I'm not a nice drunk, maybe I'm not a mean drunk. I'm just kind of a maybe smart drunk. I know what my limits are. Yeah, the bungee jumping was fun. It's obviously it's not something for everyone, but if you think you're up to that, try it. Like I said, when Beth did hers, she had a couple false starts because she couldn't get past the "I'm jumping off a bridge" thing. So yeah, you gotta be ready to do that. But she did eventually do it. She got her jump and she really enjoyed it. So yeah, What's my favorite pizza brand or just toppings? Because it's toppings. I love. I'm just an old-fashioned pepperoni pizza kind of guy. There's nothing better than that. Yeah, I still keep in touch with Beth on there, and the guy that was doing the shooting is a friend of hers named Pierre, and I know him and his wife, and they were all on the video. So yeah, they pop in occasionally. Yeah, Beth only did one jump, but like I said, I think I mentioned earlier, it's always kind of been on my list to do a bungee jump, and so when I got the opportunity to do it. I said, okay, well, the max they'll let you do is do three. So I'm going to do three of them. And I'm glad we did. HEB Creamy Creations ice cream chocolate chip is yummy. I like chocolate chip ice cream. That might be good. Would you do skydiving? I have done skydiving. There'll be another flashback video at some point. I don't know. I'm gonna have to be careful with that one because when they shot the video of it, they let me put they asked for music that you wanted over it, and so I've got like copyright music over the background of it. So I'd have to do something. I have to do something where I'll have to come up with some new audio or something like that to put on there. Did I have butterflies in my stomach before I went over? Yes. I think I'd be insane not to. What's on my bucket list? I don't know. I really haven't thought about it. I guess I'd love to go scuba diving. I've never done that before. Um, at one point, Beth was talking about maybe going scuba diving and going into a shark cage. That would be fun. Go and feed the sharks. I think in the end, she ended up doing that on her own, but I would love doing that. And the beauty is I could bring my GoPro with me and I could just go right there in the water with us and get some real good stuff there. Have I ever tried hang gliding? No, that would be fun too, but I'd have to learn how to do it. I wouldn't want to do it by myself the first time. I'd have to go tandem, just because you don't want to crash and die doing something because I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, when I did skydiving, I went tandem there too. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to go into a shark cage and see real sharks. I've only ever seen them like at aquariums and stuff like that. It'd be fun to be able to reach out and touch one. I mean, touch a live one. Parasailing, that might be fun too. I've done some stand-up paddleboarding. I'm a little bit clumsy and uncoordinated, and I tend to fall in the water. In fact, I got video footage of that too. Maybe I'll show that sometime. Uh, Jordan kind of talked me a couple of years ago into getting a stand-up paddleboard. And one time we went out and I put the GoPro on mine, and I was out there, I don't know, over 20 or 30 minutes, and I ended up in the water three times. So that would be a funny video. The beauty of doing that one, since I shot it on the GoPro, that's high def already, so I wouldn't have to make I wouldn't have to shoot it in low res. I wouldn't have to shoot it at NTSC, and because that's actually a lot more complicated than you would think. I tried the first time I shot a video at 640 by 480. I found out my phone can't even do that. I had to actually go to my pad because my pad was the only thing that could do that. So all that stuff was shot on just an iPad. Wow, thank you, Marissa, for stepping in. Yeah, 151. Yeah, that's late. You're a trooper. Thanks for coming and visiting. I'm going to be ending this pretty quick anyway because we're about 8 minutes away from my next video going up. So got a few more minutes here. How about water skiing? I tried doing that once when I was a kid. Wasn't very successful at it. Never tried it again. But yeah, that might be fun to try. Who knows? I think I'd maybe be a little bit more coordinated on it now. I'm a little bit older and ready to go on that. A zip line blog. That's another one that I've done. and I've got footage of that too. So yeah, you'll see something like that on a zip line. This is all kind of based on suggestions of Jordan because I had my parachute video up on YouTube. I had my zip line. I had my bungee jumping. I had my uh, paddle boarding all up on YouTube. And Jordan said, "Yeah, you got a lot of great content. You got to do some flashback videos." And he said, "But before you do that, um, you got to go and get rid of all that stuff on YouTube so nobody sees it because nobody will want to see it if they've already seen it." So yeah, I went and did all that stuff a few months ago when we started doing this. So yeah, we'll do that. There'll be a parachute video. There'll be a zip lining video. There'll be a stand up paddleboard video of me swimming all the time. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I'm glad that Texas is working out for me. I'm really happy here. Yeah, yeah. Jordan has been really instrumental in helping make this vlog great. This vlog wouldn't be half of what it is if it wasn't for him. You know, he gives great advice all the time. So yeah, this is going to be the first live stream I'm going to end before 2 hours. I was a little reluctant to start when I wanted to start initially because I saw Jordan was okay. Never mind. I got him. Yeah, you start dropping f bombs. That's the end. Hey, Jordan's not going to take the blame for that. Okay, well then you can take credit for it. So yeah, just to irritate him, it is all Jordan's fault. If you hate me, it's Jordan's fault. If you like me, it's my fault. Has it cooled off outside? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's still 95 to 99 every day. I don't know. What is the temperature right now? Can you see it? It's 77 degrees right now. So, no, wait, that's the indoor temperature. Sorry. It's 89 outside right now. Yeah, I got that thing recently that's a weather monitor. I wanted to get out and be able to tell what the temperature is outside. I was just going to actually go out and get a thermometer, but they had that thing, and that thing was really cool. So, basically, I wanted to know what I wanted to know temperature and humidity, and that thing did it really well. So, good night, Gene. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, 90s is really hot here, but you know, it doesn't seem to me that it's as hot when it's 90 here as it was when it was 90 in California. I think primarily because there's usually a nice breeze, and I think that helps a lot. A lot of people say, I don't know, the breeze and the humidity make this miserable. I don't know. I think it's been a little bit nicer than because when we get 90 degrees and or 100 degrees in California, it's usually because there's a Santa Ana wind. And when you have a Santa Ana wind that drives the temperature up, it also drops the humidity and you get down to like 10%. It's just really oppressive. Um, so, yeah, the temperature hasn't really been as bad as I thought it might be. Yeah, I thought that was cool seeing President Bush doing his skydiving. I think he did that to celebrate his 100th birthday, didn't he? That's really cool. I hope that when I'm 100, I can jump out of an airplane like that. But he did it. Those are tandem jumps, and that's kind of like what I did. 27 degrees. That's pretty hot for the winter. All right, good night, Terry. Thank you for stopping in. I'm going to probably end this in a minute or so anyway. We're about 2 minutes from my next video coming on. So, and there's another one. Gotta have the trolls. Thanks, Terry. I'm glad you like the videos. I'm having fun doing them, so. 84 in Kentucky, that isn't too bad. Who is a troll? A troll is just somebody that comes on here and wants to cause trouble. And usually, one of the first times I did this, Jordan was watching. He kept saying, "Make me a moderator, make me a moderator." So I made him a moderator, and ever since now he comes in and he's a great white troll hunter for me. But sometimes I find him too. So thanks, VNA. I'm glad you like my vlogs and tune in every day. I think you get the trolls more, Terry, if you live stream. I really haven't seen a whole lot of them on commenting on my videos. You can tell they're there because they're the ones that click the thumb down button on every video. But for the most part, there haven't really been a whole lot of like really negative comments on the videos I post every day. So anyway, I see it just turned to 8 o'clock here, which means my video just went live. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you in about 30 seconds on the vlog. Good night, everyone.